You know, it's just, it's one of those days where there's so much bad news in the news, and so it's very hard for us to come out and be uplifting and our typical bouncy Monday selves. It's really, when I woke up to the news of this shooting at this music festival in Las Vegas, and right away it all sort of like looked very familiar to me. And I realized you said that's because that's where you were
just last weekend. Yeah, last Saturday, that horrific sight and the images you see now is where we did our daytime village for the iHeart Festival last weekend. And I too woke up this morning to that news. You know, it's awful to say, but when I flip on the TV, sometimes first time in the morning, I pause and I think, I hope there's no tragic news overnight. And this morning was some of the worst we've ever seen. And I was actually on the radio already this morning, broadcasting back to the West Coast, talking to people. One guy, Mike, who's still there, who said that he was sheltering, like they hit the ground, they hit the deck when this gunman opened fire from across the street. He's in the Mandalay Bay, across the street. It's a Sunday night. It's a big country festival. It's a couple of nights. It's the closing night. And everyone is out thinking, you know what, let's just have one more night of fun, work tomorrow, we're going home tomorrow, school tomorrow. And Mike was gonna actually leave early, he said. But he decided to stay. And at first, he thought they heard fireworks, firecrackers, and Jason Aldean's playing, and he plays a few more bars of music before he realizes what's going on. But fortunately, they escaped. And I mean, there are no words to describe the pain that these families are going through that have lost loved ones. And so we think of all of you in this moment. But he escaped, and he brought people into his room to keep them safe. And he said to me, Kelly, he said, and he called me about 4:40 in the morning, West Coast, and he said, we didn't realize we were safe until about 30 minutes ago.
Right,
I mean,
right.
This was almost 5 minutes
of
automatic fire. Automatic fire. And all night there were rumors that there might be another gunman, that there could be a bomb going off, and people are just glued to social media.
Right.
But it's a concert.
Yeah.
This is a concert in Las Vegas, and you go to these places and these shows to escape reality, to celebrate a date, a relationship, a birthday. And to think that you have to be afraid to go to a concert in this day and age in our country, it's awful.
I know. I was telling you backstage, my daughter loves a music festival, right? So many of our kids do. You have teenagers, like that's where they want to be, at the music festival. And this morning, she slept in bed with me last night, and I woke up and I did what I always do. I turned the news on, and there it is. And I woke her and I said, "This is why." Because she gets so angry with me because I like to have a contingency plan. We go over it in case something happens, and it's so sad. You know, my mom said when she was a teenager, and when I was a teenager, it never occurred to her to warn me about what to do in case of something like this, because it never occurred to her. And now it occurs to me every time my kids leave the house. I say, remember, what's the contingency plan? Who are you going to call first? Where are you going to go if something happens? And she gets so angry.
Annoyed by it.
She gets so irritated by my constantly going over this, you know, this plan of action. And I said, this is why we have a plan of action. Just in case. Yeah.
But it's a frightening thing, and you hate to see that. There was a phone call I took also this morning from a woman who said once they escaped, they were running, they hit the deck, then they got up, they ran, they got out safely. But she said everyone kept saying, cut off your wristband, because they have wristbands for these shows. They said, cut off your wristband, because if we are targeted for some reason because we're at this show, you don't want to have that on your wrist.
Unbelievable.
This is after they made it away.
Right. And I think the scariest thing is that, you know, from the reports, I was just listening to the news this morning, and the reports were that people didn't know where to run because they didn't know where it was coming from.
Right.
They had no idea where it was coming from. Is it one person? Is it more than one person? Do you hide in place, or do you make a move for it? You know.
Well, thank God they did find the gunman. They blew down his door, the 32nd floor of this hotel.
Did you hear this report that they said that They found the room because his smoke detector went off because of all the gunfire in the room. That it sent the smoke detector off.
And that's how they could identify exactly.
That's how they
which
got
room.
him so fast.
They got him, I mean, very, very quickly. And to think, I mean, that's a massive hotel. So to clear the floors, to clear the area, the first responders that were there, and even those who were just taking their own personal vehicles and running people to the hospital because it was all happening so fast.
Yeah.
So many heroes in such a difficult situation, but.
And so many families devastated, and we are praying for you today, all of the victims of this.
Absolutely.